There's a very strong story doing the rounds that says tax changes for workers are cosmetic, while the real winners from the budget are the rich and the ultra-rich.
They are going to basically raise taxes on absolutely everybody except the very rich. Taxes are going to be raised on higher earning working people, and also, especially if we look at the freezing of the tax thresholds, even lower earning working people. But I think it's important to recognise, especially with things like freezing of the tax thresholds, which are raising taxes on even lower earning working people.
That is such a ridiculous summary. The difference between the tax on average earnings in the UK and the tax on higher earners is the greatest of any developed economy globally. We have a fairer tax system in the UK now than any other developed economy in the world. Wealth is taxed as well at all sorts of points on the journey, but the ability, most wealth is created through income. The way you create, I think, a sort of socialist utopia is sort of if you pursue what's going on in the UK.
This chart from the FT shows the average UK worker is taxed less than in most countries, but in no other country is there such a steep climb in the tax burden from the middle to the top earners.
Yeah, I think this is the data that demonstrates the point I've just made. We've also created a system in the UK. I think we must be concerned about this. We have a very large and growing population of economically inactive people in the UK. Ultimately, that's not good for the economy. But part of the reason I believe that we have this large and growing population of economically inactive adults in the UK is because we've made it too easy for people to choose not to work, particularly those with relatively large families. So there was some analysis done post-budget which showed that for a family with 3 kids, that somebody who chooses not to work but claim a range of different benefits basically accrues an income that is substantially larger than a household where you've got both parents working, one in part-time, one full-time on average earnings. And that's the challenge you create for an economy. If the incentives are the wrong way around, people will elect not to work, particularly if they see their neighbour making more money than they are by not working. So I think we have a problem. But nevertheless, the original question was, the richer people got off lightly, poorer people got harmed or whatever. But it's just total and utter nonsense, and it flies in the face of the facts, which of course most people on the internet are pretty happy to do. The market for facts is pretty small, vanishingly small. Most people have opinions that are never backed up with facts. The facts, as are shown in that chart, demonstrate that that we have a very egalitarian tax system in the UK, the most of any developed economy globally by some measures.
So even in this story, the picture is much more nuanced than the rich got away with it.
Look, some people will not be satisfied. Zach Polanski, for example, the leader of the Green Party, which is basically a radical sort of socialist party. He's the sort of person who believes that everybody who's been successful and created wealth and has wealth is some sort of public enemy.
It is time to tax the rich!
And their assets and their wealth should be appropriated from them. People like that will never be satisfied by a budget that delivers what Rachel Reeves did. They'll never be satisfied. They are possessed with the politics of envy, and nothing will ever cure that. They talk absolute crap. What they advocate has never worked anywhere in the world in history. They promote a destructive, damaging, and impoverishing agenda, but they still believe in it because they're possessed with this sort of religious belief in the politics of envy, and nothing will cure them of that illness, I'm afraid. But I think they should be completely discounted, ignored. They're not serious politicians, in my view. They're not advocating a serious economic sort of solution to the challenges an economy like the UK confronts. They're mad, frankly, and should be ignored. But nevertheless, we have to be careful in the UK about creating too many of the wrong incentives, because we will end up with a dependent workforce that is unfinanceable for those in work.